Maybe Scott. All right. Hello, everybody. Let's get some emojis going in the chat. Let's let you all know that you're doing well. Hey, Greg. The MacBook did an update, and I'm constantly getting these new things about you can add emojis to the call and everything. Just like, leave me alone. All right. Going to pop a link in the chat. This is a link to the call that Scott did on Friday. This is the call that Scott has been linking to in his last few emails as well. And this call focuses on what can we do right now? Like, what kind of trades can we take right now? Where should we be looking right now? I think Scott described it as like defensive trading. So, for example, going nuts out with leverage right now, it's just like putting a Russian roulette kind of spin the barrel. So that link there, that's if you want to know what to do right now, that is a must-watch video for you. It goes into a lot of details about a site called ox.fun. Shows you all kinds of different ways that you can make money from there. He also explains that it's main trading, degen trading. So, if you just want to follow along with the 100x and you're at that level of, I really don't know what's going on, this is the first time that I'm here, then go through the welcome post and that will show you exactly what happens. Here's a buy signal, here's a sell signal, here's what you do. Now this is what you do next, which is basically just wait until you get an instruction from Scott or Maurizio to sell. And it really can be as simple as that. But then you get a bit curious and you want to know a bit more, and you want to understand a bit more and learn a bit more. And then you start seeing people making all these crazy bits of money. And I think I want to play with these meme coins. Well, the good thing is, sorry, I got distracted by a comment. The good thing is that in the welcome post, there's a section on memes. There's a section on how to structure your portfolio. There's a little section on just about everything that you would need, depending on where you are within your journey, within that welcome post. So absolutely have a look at that video. I'll put the link in there again. And just to not get distracted by hundreds of questions, right? When you watch that video, Scott's answering questions in real time. So you'll say, well, where is this vault then? Well, the vault's not here yet. I've got nothing to give you. Honestly, there's nothing here. I'm not hiding anything. Okay. When we've got and we're ready to go, it'll be out there. Okay. So what Scott's done is he's shown you how you can do this yourself. And then he's going to open up a vault, of which he's going to do another session. It's probably going to be this Friday. Will there be a recording, Ian? Well, I reckon there will. Will it go out in the email? I reckon it will. Okay. So have a watch of that video as soon as you get a chance, okay? And then you'll be fully up to speed. So with that said, me and Maurizio have not blown our own heads off this week through utter boredom and nothing happening, you know what I mean? But I tell you what, here's my entire Bitcoin summary, Maurizio. We need a daily close above 97,000. Until that happens, all is going to happen. That is the next thing that we need to potentially set us up for a move up. And what we don't want to do is further break down from this level of about 96 that we're holding. So if we have a daily close above 97, that's bullish. Let's see what happens next. If we have a daily close that's below the 96 is 95 or something like that. Well, that's bearish, and then we'll have a look at what happens in the next candle. Are we going to touch the bottom of this kind of range that we're in? So it's back to that, like, you know, just choppy sideways action like this, and this is why it's not easy to trade.
That's it. Yeah, you're spot on. We've been saying that for weeks, and it's been frustrating. And as a trader, it frustrates me, right? But obviously, it is what it is. And then something that I want to highlight that just Ian mentioned in terms of very, very important, is how do you sort of split your portfolio, right? Like on the welcome pulse is actually very, very important for you guys to understand that. So you don't get chopped out in a way, you know what I mean? Like the way that we trade here, we have different portfolios. We have the spot, which is kind of long term, right? Sometimes we add, that goes into a drawdown. That's a very different mindset when you actually do trading, which is in a different portfolio, right? And that's the one that we use leverage on, right? Sometimes I go a little bit, like for instance, the trade that we did on the weekend, there was shit, market turned completely, hit the stop loss. It is what it is, right? I'm not, but the spot position is a different mindset. So having those differentiation, make sure that you understand which one you want to trade, because they're completely different things. You know what I mean? So obviously go through the welcome post again and go through the stuff, because we do clarify some stuff of it. Okay.
Nice. With that said, Maurizio, do you want to do your market recap? Oh, just before you start, just let me know in the chat with a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you're aware that Maurizio does a daily update video inside the 100x. Just a thumb up or a thumb down. I just want to get an idea that everybody is aware that he does these videos. All right, awesome, because that's the way to be like, okay, I know what's going on. I wonder what he's going to say about this tomorrow. There we go. That's great that there's some thumbs down, right? So every day, Monday to Friday, Maurizio does a video. It can be range from 10 minutes to 20 minutes or whatever he needs to cover. So what he's going to go through now, you get that delivered every weekday, every day of the week inside the club. Okay, so all the thumbs down, awesome. Now you know, watch out for Maurizio's. If you read the welcome post, it shows you how you can follow a person, because we tell you to follow Scott in your notification settings. We also follow Maurizio as well. And then you'll get that. All right, sorry, Maurizio, over to you, mate.
That's cool, man. Before I start, there were some questions. Usually, I wait around 1 hour, 1 hour and a half after daily close, right? So daily close is basically it's been like an hour ago. So I usually wait a little bit, like an hour and a half, top 2 hours, before I actually do the video. I just want to see how the daily close happen. Let's go through it. Let me just start sharing. But then for that question, yeah, usually it's 2 hours. Tops 2 hours after daily close, right? That I do the videos. The videos are actually sometimes I talk like experienced traders. The feedback that I have had is that some coins that I talk in the videos, even though I don't take trades, some people do take some trades, and they've been quite all right? So obviously that's something that look into it. Any feedback in the videos will be appreciated, and then we'll keep them improved. All right, let me just share my screen. Do you see my screen now?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
All right, awesome. No, that's cool, man. All right, cool. All right. Right, so let's go through markets a little bit in terms of what Bitcoin is doing. So I've been talking for a while about this range here, and you guys could go back and watch these videos and look at what Bitcoin has done, right, in this freaking range. And why I say freaking range, because this is the point that when traders get frustrated, a lot of traders get bored. A lot of people start just selling their coins and things like that. Say, this is over. It's been pretty complicated price action to trade, to be honest. This is the dailies, right? Look at this daily choppy action sort of deal, right? The interesting thing is this range seems to be the one that is holding towards the downside and towards the upside. So something that I'm keeping track of is when are we going to break from this level? And when I mean break is like Ian was mentioning, a break above these levels, like what daily close, like when a candle actually close above these levels, right? So the highest that this thing was a couple of days ago was actually 98,000. So in my view, we need to clear this level in order to actually get some action. Is that going to happen today, tomorrow, in a month's time? Are we going to handle this? Is this going to happen this week or in who knows? To be honest, have no idea. That's why I always watch the market every single day, right? The downside, right? The downside is obviously this could last for a while, but the positive side, when it breaks, it could break hard towards the upside. So when it breaks, if we are prepared, then that's when we actually start taking positions. And that's when I'm planning to actually take positions on leverage a little bit. So in saying that, obviously, just keeping a track of Bitcoin. Bitcoin hasn't done much, to be honest. The good thing about this week is a lot of the economic news and things like that were out last week. We don't have any major things this week, which take it from I'm looking at it from two perspectives. One, the market could actually play its hand, because it's not a lot of developing macro stuff happening. Then price action will be the defining factor. If people start buying, people start selling, then we will have a really, really close look at what's going on in Bitcoin, right? That's kind of, and what Bitcoin is doing, it looks like a lot of the alts are reflecting the price action. So yeah, that's where we are in terms of Bitcoin. Unfortunately, there's not much to say. Besides that, also there was a catalyst, a good news, not so well. This news like UA strategy Bitcoin purchase and potential implications for the market. So essentially, they started buying and they started buying Bitcoin. So the downside is they're not buying much, right? Like honestly, but Michael Saylor buys more than what these guys are buying. But in fact of narrative, what I can definitely could see, and that's why I'm still very bullish on on pretty much all markets, is that it could be seen as catalyst for countries to actually start front running the US, to start buying Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Start getting into the Bitcoin sort of strategic reserve, whatever they want to call it. So I'm looking very closely to that. Like obviously the reaction of the market was quite positive, but it was actually just a lot. Like that was on February 14th, which is indeed what happened. What actually the catalyst to actually have this price all the way up to 98,000, but it wasn't sustained. It wasn't sustained at all. So obviously, but long term, right? I do believe that that's a very, very positive thing for crypto. All right. So there's a lot of stuff that is happening in the back end of crypto. The ruling, the SEC new ruling, that it will definitely impact positively crypto in a way, right? So that's what I'm tracking closely. So that's what we are in terms of Bitcoin, right? But if we're still looking at this from the weekly perspective, right? Weekly perspective, obviously, we just closed the weekly, right? And it's choppy ass, right? Like still bullish. Can we still drop all the way down to 92 this week? Yeah, that's a possibility. Can we still go to the range highs here on 102? That's a possibility. Can we break? That's another possibility. How highly likelihood is this to happen? So let me ask you, let me hear your sentiment, guys. Who thinks that Bitcoin this week could go down to 92K? And I just want to do us a poll here. Yeah, 92K. Yep. 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 Okay. All right. Yeah, let's go. Now, let me rephrase the question then. How many of you think that Bitcoin this week will go to 90 over 97? Let's say over 98K this week. Right. How many of you think that Bitcoin will be over 100K this week? Right. Okay, that's an interesting thing. So as you can see, a lot of you guys might think that obviously we'll hit 98K, which is the top of the range, but there was a lot of you that don't think that we're going to go over 100K, right? And that's what the market could. And let me just for the last question, how many of you think that Bitcoin will hit 92K this week? It's not a possibility. You definitely think that it might go 92K. Right. Okay. Yeah, less than you. Yeah, Max Payne. So yes. Miles, I think I'm on your side as well. Obviously, when it's Max Payne, right? Let me just get this back into the daily. When we have a lot of pain, like what happened here in this liquidation event, right? A lot of people sell off and capitulate. What that means is leave the opposite side open for buyers to come in and actually gain this kind of upside, right? So the fact that we had this huge not capitulation event or liquidation event, call it that way, right? There is there could be a likelihood that we fill the gap, but it's been pretty sustained price action, very awkward price action, right? Dailies are very horrible, right? And the weekend price action has been horrible as well. So we do need a catalyst on some sort, right? And what that catalyst might be, another talk about Trump or another talk about tariffs or whatever, but until then, I think we'll remain very choppy. As simple as that. This is price action. Unless we don't have a massive like ETF inflow or tariffs or anything that triggers the market to either direction, because let's say Edwards says Max Payne 75K. Let's have a look. 75K, 75K, 75K. Yeah, that could happen, definitely. Yeah, if we break these lows, definitely we can see a flash crash. That could happen, definitely. Anything's on the table, right? Anything's on the table. So with that being said, what I'm trying to tell you guys is that markets are pretty choppy. That means that doing leverage is very, very dangerous. That's why I did put a trade over the weekend, which I got stopped out, but I said low leverage. Let me clarify what low leverage means. So if you understand leverage, when you put leverage on it, that doesn't mean that let's say you have an account of $10,000 and you buy it or higher liquid, whatever. And then you need to calculate the risk between your entry and your stop loss, right? And that's actually the risk that you're willing to take. It could be 1% from your account, 0.5% from your account. It could be 10% from your account, right? So obviously, this is the time that if I do trades, I do low leverage. Why? Because market is pretty choppy, so it's highly likelihood that you get really you get chopped out, but you can actually get good gains, right? If you get on the right side of the leverage, on the right side of the range, then you could get a really good trade going on, right? So obviously, when I say low leverage, I mean you can risk just only 0.5% of your account, 1% of your account tops, right? That's what low leverage means, right? So I don't get hit or anything like that. Spot is a different story. It depends on how much you have in capital and things like that. So I just want to clarify that. So Bitcoin, right? No man's land. If we have a look in the bigger picture here on the CBD spot buying, there's no it keeps dropping. Like obviously it's getting choppier. So there's nothing for me to actually buy. And if you think about from an investor's perspective, right? When do you think people will start buying again? Is 96 a really good price? Or is actually 92 a better price? Or if people think that Bitcoin could drop a little bit to 94, 92, then that will become attractive. So, or it will become attractive if Bitcoin start going up to 98, right? But in between, it's pretty shit, man. Like, it's pretty crappy, unfortunately. So obviously we have to cope with what the market give us and don't hope for anything else. We just have to react of the price action. So that's my take on Bitcoin. If I go to Ethereum, right? Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is pretty much doing the same thing, ranging, but the only difference in terms of Ethereum price action is that it's kind of getting into this sort of breaking structure. So market goes, whenever it's a capitulation and then a candle. Let me just bring a pen. It's my pen. Like markets could do this and then like this, right? That means it's breaking structure. So what it means is this is the change from buyers to sellers or sellers to buyers. And then it usually comes back to here, right? And then that will be a good step to buy if that holds, right? So this is the kind of smallest price action that I'm seeing, but I'm seeing a lot of effort in this area to get Ethereum down. However, we don't forget what happened here. And if you watch my videos, then on this flush, the Liberty, the World Liberty Fund or whatever, right? You can track the on-chain wallet, which I gave it to you guys on a video, right? These guys bought here massive amount of money, and they start staking this thing. So I'm still watching that as a supportive sort of factor. So I'm watching Ethereum closely. Therefore, I'm watching Ethereum betas very closely, but I'm still not there yet. I want to see a break structure completely to start buying, at least on leverage, right? So they get in position on leverage, right? So, yeah, fortunately, this, let me just clear all this stuff. Right. Solana, on the other hand, this is the majors kind of thing. Man, not doing anything. Supported on this level here, but yeah, it's nothing there for me to say. Are we going to crash completely? Like this is the kind of no man's land. I don't want to short it, but I don't want to buy it either. So I just want to react of what the main players will be doing, right? So that's kind of what I'm unfortunately what I'm waiting for. It could happen this week, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. What I'm doing, like what I'm tracking a lot is Nvidia, like how Nvidia is doing and Nvidia. And why Nvidia? Because Nvidia, I see it as a good catalyst for the AI projects to come back. So Nvidia seems like it's recovering well after what happened with the AI, the Chinese AI model. Was it deep stuff? Sorry, I completely blanked out. Anyway, So DeepSeek, thank you. Yes, DeepSeek. So essentially, I'm looking for a recovery in this to start getting back into AI. So in terms of the AI projects that I really like on crypto, we have AI 16 set, and I was talking about you guys. Let's talk about this one because we entered into a position on this one over the weekend, and let me show you the two mindsets that I was doing on this one. And hold on, come on. All right, so we enter around 48, something around here. So it looked pretty. I was looking to buy on these levels, right? And I did buy. I was hoping for a good weekend, which we didn't get, right? The weekend actually was pretty crappy. There was no action whatsoever. Usually weekends sometimes when we start getting the momentum, we get some rushes, right? We get some really good inflows of capital, right? But it did not happen this time. So where am I in this one? So I did talk about that in my spot position. We were going to perhaps close it if we go below the 40, right? Which is very close, right? We're very close. So I'm looking from the short time perspective to see if this holds. If this holds, that's cool. I keep my spot position. I might add more after we clear these levels. If not, more than likely I'll just close it. Because if this doesn't reclaim probably today or tomorrow, right, there is a highly likelihood that we're going to reclaim these levels here on the down, right? That could happen. So if that happens, then I will be a buyer again on these levels. Okay, I'm still very bullish on this one, right? This one will have a little bit of an upside. And this one will go all the way up here. I don't know, but at least I know this one will get an influx. Why? Because it was one of the strongest ones AI leaders when AI was going on, right? When AI was the hot narrative. So this is one of my biggest sort of conviction trades that I have. So another ones that I'm looking at, right? Obviously we have spec. Been talking about spec for ages, right? And spec, it is now like in crypto, right? Things things that you might have seen plenty of times is that a lot of the projects get launched. After getting launched, they get an upside, then a lot of people sell, and then if the project survives, they keep developing and stuff like that, there is a highly likelihood that the recovery could be substantial, right? And this is what I'm seeing with the spec, so I'm keeping a close eye on it. I haven't bought anything, but this is stuff that I'm looking. So I'm taking the time now that it's quite slow, right, to actually start researching projects a little bit more from the fundamental side, from the technology side, what they're doing, what they're launching. And spec has been in my view for ages, man. And now that it's at the lowest low of everything, I think this could be the best opportunities to buy, right? But we have to be cognizant that Bitcoin is not, it is very, even though it's very strong, it could be on the verge of a drop. So if that happens, then it could be a likelihood, it could be a highly likelihood that alts could keep bleeding. All right. So that's kind of what we need to be aware on any positions that we enter at the moment, right? So that's kind of where we at. So it's a tricky situation, but that's kind of the plan. And once you develop a plan and then you get some evaluations, but then the spec looks pretty good from that perspective. Another two that we are already holding, but I definitely would like to add more is Juke and Hype. We all know Hype. Hype has been really, really, really strong, man. Like really, really strong. And I don't see like they buying in terms of the fundamentals and price action, these and Jupe are the ones that I like the most, and here's why. So these guys are doing buying back program. So what that means is they buying back tokens and they burn it. What that does is that the the new tokenomics of the token or the project becomes a little bit more valuable. All right. So they are doing that, and Jupe is doing the same. They just announced it this week, and I think they're going to start the buying back program this week. So we are holding this on spot, and we are holding Jupe on spot, but definitely these are two that I really like to add more, right? Based on that. Jupe has been pretty, yeah, it's been like we bought here around, when was it? On June 4. But I would definitely like to add a little bit more on this one. So that's kind of what I'm looking this week. Besides that, in terms of on-chain things, I did talk about Reploy a while back. So Reploy is a very, very interesting project that will, I will send you guys the link about what they do. But let's talk about price action for the time being. So I was looking to buy around these areas. Now it seems that this is an on-chain project, guys, by the way, right? So an on-chain is not on any exchanges for the guys that are new here, okay? So what that means is that more than likely, what you need to do is to take, if you haven't done, let me just ask, how many of here have bought things on-chain without an exchange? What that means, you have used Uniswap, or you've used any other XSwap or any other of on-chain DeFi stuff. Let me ask, how many of you have done that stuff before? Right. All right, cool. This could be the time that if you have not done this, please go through the welcome post. We do have a video there in how to buy things on chain, either through Uniswap or either to whatever. Why? Because these could be the ones that it could give us the best returns, right? So, and overall, what you need to do if you haven't done it, essentially, if you want to buy Reploy, you do have a contract here. I will put the contract. And then basically you need to buy wrap ETH, right? Because obviously, wrap ETH is just a mechanism to trade in terms of on DeFi, right? So you need to have, let's say, you buy Ethereum through an exchange, whatever, you move that Ethereum into Uniswap or MetaMask, right? MetaMask account, or MetaMask wallet, or any other wallet. And then you have Uniswap, you change that to wrap ETH, right? And then with the wrap ETH, which is the same value as ETH, but then it's just in a different mechanism, then you basically get this token. That's how it works, right? And with these ones, there are a lot of interesting projects that are coming out, and these are the ones that I'm focusing on a little bit more, because these ones long term, they could actually provide a really good return. Okay, so now that the market is a little bit slow, probably it's a good idea for you guys to have a look at that one. Okay, so I'm looking at this one very closely. I'm thinking to start buying, right, around this area. Like, this area seems to be very attractive to buy. Project wise, looks pretty interesting. Tokenomics wise, looks pretty interesting. There's not any exchange yet. I think they are. I think already in Mexico. Let me deploy. I think they're already in Mexico. Yeah, they were in Mexico. Yeah. So you can get in Mexico if you have an account with them, right? So this is not completely on chain. But yeah, short story, that's the one that I'm looking for. That's what I'm sort of tracking. And another ones that I'm watching this week specifically is new launches. So new launches, right? Like their chain that you want to share, usually they don't have a lot of baggage, right? So the only baggage that they might have is when they launch in Binance, the perpetual future. So this is the spot. This is the spot chart. Like, it was launched at $8, went all the way up to 15, and now it's at 5, right? What I'm tracking on new launches usually is people at some point they start selling, they get a lot of airdrops, right? So this is the story, right? You get a new coin, they get airdrops because obviously there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff in the background and they do get airdrops. What happened with the airdrops is people sell half usually, or sell a portion, or sell everything. So you do get a huge sort of sell-off. And then what we're trying to do with new launches is seeing when people stop selling. That's kind of the first catalyst that we look for. And how do you know? Usually, when the price action sort of stuff and start creating sort of a new bottom, like a new range. Okay. So can this go a little bit lower? Definitely, right? Because you don't know how many people are still going to sell, right? But this type of launches are very interesting because at some point, this one will get at least to listing price. And it's always, like, not always, but it's a high likelihood for this new stuff to happen, especially if they have invested millions and millions of dollars in marketing and they have unlocks happening for VCs to actually unlock and things like that. So this is in my watch list to watch, right? And this happened this week, who knows? I don't think so, but let's see how the market reacts. And as you can see, this is ranging, right? Ranging. So it's not a lot of stuff, but I'm just sort of creating the plan of what's to happen, because on any Bitcoin strength, then there will be capital influx on these things, and then there's highly likely that we can actually get up to listing price, right? Another one that I'm watching is IP. So IP was launched recently, same deal, man, same deal, right? And then you're gonna see a little bit of a sell-off, whatever, just track when the market starts sort of getting low, and then we might have a good chance that these projects get back into the listing price all the time. Or at least high price here. So that's what I'm watching, guys, creating the plans to actually see what the best opportunities are, might be long term. Besides that, this is a long-term sort of perspective, but short time frame stuff. Like, I'm still looking at Pengu and Polka. I did talk about on Friday. So this one seems to be waking up a little bit. So memes, I don't know if we're ready for memes yet. Still a lot of stuff on memes. We very, like, on our portfolio, we're really down on memes. So I don't want to add on memes unless we do like short-term trading. But then that's pretty much it, guys. I don't, what I mean? That's kind of what I'm watching for the markets this week. It's going to be very interesting how market develops this week without the macro stuff, without any massive news, CPI, PPI, whatever, any macro stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. So, right. So we can go through some questions if you want, but yeah, that's pretty much anything that I have.
Nice. Let's see what kind of questions come in. So, oh, you've gone, Maurizio.
Right. So I see a question here. What's your thought on potential? Testing. Can you hear me?
We can. Your photographs back. The video is.
Yeah. I'll have to fix this camera, man. There you go.
There we go.
I'm back. Okay. Murad memes. Oh man, Murad memes. We are on this. I don't know if this is USA coin. I think they'll come back. Definitely. That's one of the potentials of those memes. And Murad seems to be a very interesting guy and picking up those narratives and teams and people, but they're down pretty a lot, right? But then the interesting thing is with crypto is that things could come back pretty quickly. So Pengu, for instance, not Pengu, what is it? Pinot went up 35%, 38% in one day, things like that. So obviously, when you see a lot of drawdowns like 50, 60%, then, that's kind of what you have to get used to in crypto. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty tough, man. Like in terms. So I'm still think that definitely will have a comeback on the Murad memes. Not all of them. We can talk about it next week and get all the memes and stuff like that and talk about it. But yeah, I think there could be some of them that definitely come back. Thoughts of impeding Humanity Protocol as the WorldCoin competitor. That's an interesting proposition. The thing though that we need to look for is, because I do think that WorldCoin is a strong, it could be a strong one. The Humanity Protocol is the adoption, right? We see how much people will adopt the protocol, same thing as WorldCoin, and we can actually see which one is the winner. Perhaps both could be, you know what I mean? So that's kind of my thoughts on it, just from the fundamentals aspect of it, you know what I mean? Is there a way to, hopefully that answers your question. Is there a way to see what projects are coming to markets, new coins? Yes. I'm working probably this week. We were talking about last week with Scott on this call about Binance new listings, right? So every time that we have Binance new listings, they go to shed. That's a good short. That's a good idea to start shorting, right? So I develop a little bit of a script that can get you like all the news, the new preps coming out on new exchanges, targeting Binance and Bybit. So I might just release to you guys for free. Don't, no worries. It could be a good thing to have, you know what I mean? To have from that perspective what we talk. So I might, give me a week and probably we'll get done. So, but in terms of new coins, coming to a market, like you can actually just go to Binance and they have the new launch in Bybit as well. They have the launch pad, things like that. You can actually see all the stuff that have in the pipeline. Okay, that's a new, but you don't know when the PEP is going to get released at the end of the day. All right.
I'll just jump in there for 1 second, Maurizio, because the question of research. So, what is under the hood of the 100x? The research that Maurizio does, it would bring a tear to the eye of pretty much most people, the depth that he goes to. Now, the reason I mention this is because this is such a random question. I don't expect anybody to actually get the answer, but have a guess at what you think the least popular course is that we've ever created and solved. I'll just give you 5 seconds. What do you think is the least popular course we've ever created that's gone out there? I'll tell you, it was a safe leverage course. Who wants safe leverage? Nobody wants safe leverage, right? Nobody's interested. Really, nobody was very interested in that, Kevin. There's a few others on the call that did it. They got really deep into it, right? So my point is that the way to find these new coins to come onto the market is to read and read and read, and then figure out what parameters you are looking for from a fundamental viewpoint. Like when Scott said, I'm coming out of Woo, it's because he looked at, is the exchange growing? And he didn't see that growth. And then that fundamental research was part of the reason, combined with some of the price action, part of the reason why he moved out of that trade and into the hype trade. And Scott would give that a heuristic of you sell the things that you don't like and you buy the things that you do like. If you hold on to something that you don't like for too long, well, that's when you can kind of end up underwater. So yeah, there's loads of really cool tips and places to look and everything like that. But the underlying thing is there's like Maurizio's level of research is painful, like so bravo Maurizio.
Yeah, and with all that research stuff like that, you don't always get it right. So that's something that you have to have in mind. You're gonna have a lot of, even though you do the research, price action, whatever, size is important. Call it that way. Let's go over here. I'm not doing those analogies, man. That's not my what I mean by this, right? Is that um don't go all in every single in every single freaking trade, man. Like, even meme stuff, like depends on how much portfolio, how much money do you have. It is, split it evenly, like 10, 15 trades, and then or spot holds or whatever, right? And then you start sort of adding into it. If you go too big on one and you're lucky, that's great, that's fantastic. But then your mindset keeps doing the same thing, and then you keep doing the same thing over until you hit the one that it didn't work, and then you're out, right? You're out of the game. So have that in mind. We have good calls, we have bad calls in no bad calls, like things that didn't went through price. Can they recover? Definitely can, right? But maybe they don't. We have good trades that have done 300%, 400%. We have trades that have dropped down 90%, right? Things like that. So have that in mind. So that's why I say size is important. Make sure that you split your portfolio accordingly. Make sure that you do know how to either you're going to do a leverage, or either you're going to do only a spot, or if you're going to do both, probably divide your capital on two, and then you're more effective that way. And then at least you have a plan of what you're going to do when you do the calls. That's basically, or when we actually put this trade on and things like that, then that's kind of the best thing that I can say, because a lot of especially new people that come into the space, right? They have $500. We send a signal, and that signal went to shit, right? And they don't have any more money. So you know what I mean? Like, size matters on that regards. If you only have $500, split in 100, man, and you have 5 opportunities to make that happen, right? So
Yeah, Scott Woods. I mean, it's always worth speaking of the heuristics that Scott has repeated so many times that they're burnt into my head now. And it's like, he would say, if you've got $500, you've got 5 bullets. So exactly as Maurizio put it there, So it's like, if I had $500 right now, I would probably put it in something like Retardio, and then I'd just hold my breath, if you know what I mean, and say, right, let's see what happens. But I'd hold my breath in a relaxed manner, because always thanks to Maurizio's help, I would set it up in the Trojan bot. So then it is automatically going to pay me out. And there's a Trojan bot video in the welcome post and anything. So just looking at the time, then we'll bring this to a close. I'll ask you, I got one last thing, Maurizio, then I'll ask you just sum up what you think people should be doing this week, the way that Scott would normally sum up: leverage on, leverage off. So just that thing for me, right, is if you're new and you're looking at this market, and there's like, well, he's talking about signals here and how long do we hold the trade and everything. One way to think about just the market in general, so that you understand it, right? The market is made up of all these people that have got a different strategy. So there's some people right now, they've just got this one strategy. They're buying the pullbacks right now. And over a period of maybe 3 months, a quarter of a year, maybe, right, they'll be waiting for the macro swing. So that's a macro swing trade, right? So there's people that are just sat there looking at the weekly chart and looking at the monthly chart. They might snag an entry on the daily, but they're operating at this high time frame, and they're just an investor, and the trade takes however long it takes. Now, the complete other side of that is where you've got these people that are scalping on the 1 minute chart. And when you're scalping on the 1 minute chart, boom, it's work, it's boom, boom, action, action, action. So it's like, all right, 1 minute's a bit too fast. Let's move up to the 5 minute. Oh, this is still a bit too fast, isn't it? Like, I need to take 100 trades a day, you know what I mean? And there's all the other people in the middle that have all got their own ideas, that are all sat around and to win, you've got to have an edge. You have to have an edge, right? And you can figure out edges for yourself, right? Now, an edge has to be really, be something mathematical, systematic, but it's also what's the best way for you to trade? Like, if the best way for you to trade is on spot, just holding, I can relax. And my number one priority is to ensure that I start scaling out before we peak. So I'm not going to try and time the top. I'm just going to try and scale out, say 20% of the time, right? Well, that's the strategy that you can just follow and ride if that works for you. That's not going to work for somebody that's like, I want money now, today, money every week. Well, if you want that, then you got to figure out how to do this on a lower time frame where you can take more trades and you can be at it fully locked in for a long period of time. And that seems pretty colossal, I know. But somewhere in that melee, you'll find how you like to trade, and just be inquisitive, stay open, watch Maurizio's daily updates, and also just believe that it's an infinite game.
It is, and obviously there will be plenty of opportunities. But if you're new, probably the best thing to do, guys, is go through the welcome post, go through all the information there, and decide, create a plan how you're going to execute the signals when they come. Because I keep saying this over and over again, last cycle, same thing, right? When we get markets that are hectic, you don't have time to learn. It's as simple as that. You don't going to have time to learn. The only time that you're gonna have is like to play trades, getting out here, getting out there, things like that. So this is, I think it's a great time, you know, when we're ranging, this is the best time to learn, to start digesting a little bit of the, you know, market, what the market has to give us in a way. Like, how do you read the market, how you read the candles, how you read all the stuff, how to place positions, how do you buy on chain, how do you not buy on chain, how to use the Trojan board, all that stuff, so you're ready, right? And then you will be able to capitalize when things come. Patience is always like, I'm getting desperate. I'm a trader and I love to trade. I'm getting freaking desperate, right? Like this. So, but this is what it is, man. So obviously it is part of the game. Can this be like this for the whole year? Yes. I'm not saying, can this change tomorrow? Yes. Welcome to markets, man. Welcome to trading. Welcome to crypto. That's how it is, man. You know, so obviously, you know,
it's like you got to do jobs that other people don't want to do. And this comes from Robot James's writings. I think it's called, just Google this. I think it's Stop Trying to Play Djokovic at Tennis. And James is like a quant mega brain, you know, and he just lays out this argument for figure out what you like, figure out what you're good at, figure out a game that you can play. And then once you figure out that game that you can play and you can win at that game, well, it might not be the game that you want to play. But if you want to make money, that's what you can do right now. And then everything just kind of grows and goes from there. So with all that said, then, that was a really fantastic call. Thank you, Maurizio. Thank you, everybody. And
thank you, guys.
We'll see you in the group.
See you guys next week. See you guys tomorrow.